everybody? Brian Pierce from Seat Time here. We have a special guest. We've been trying to mess with this for a while to Skype in a couple people. We'll see how it goes tonight. But our first one, luckily enough, they've heard about my bromance with him, Mr. Kurt Caselli, and he has decided to put up with me and let me ask him a few questions to see how things go tonight. So, Mr. Kurt Caselli, how was your evening?
Pretty good. Just had a long day down in LA doing some FMF photo shoot and ran by a DVS warehouse, got some new shoes, and had to sit in traffic to get home to do this interview with you guys.
I like it. Well, I definitely know that sitting in that traffic was probably absolutely worth it. If nothing else, the DVS kicks and all the FMF gear that you're going to send us, it's going to be totally worth you sitting in all that traffic, so we really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. That's why I went down there today, just
absolutely.
for you guys.
Yeah, well, we'll look good in it. We'll make sure we rep everybody really well. The good thing is, Kurt, is that you did an amazing job this past weekend racing in the Big Six GP. But us in Texas and the guys a little bit more east of here, we unfortunately don't know too much about that series. So if you could kind of give us a little bit more of a breakdown of how that went down. We know you did a team competition on Saturday, and then you won the individual open on Sunday. So if you could just break that down a bit more, that would be quite awesome. What do you got?
Well, the Big Six series really is just a series, a Grand Prix series, just the same as a course layout as a work series that started in 1995 from the District 37. I know you guys got district racing out there.
Yeah.
District 37 is basically off-road based district out here in Southern California, and they put together the Grand Prix series, and it was originally 6 races. And that's why they named it the Big Six Grand Prix Series. And that started in 95. They haven't really had a national championship awarded for any pro race. This is actually the first year they're doing an AMA amateur national #1 for the Pro Series. And that's a pro race on Sunday. It's a 2-hour pro race. And it's just the same as a works race or any other Grand Prix where you got a motocross track and an off-road loop. Yesterday, the lap times were about 13 minutes, and we ran for 2 hours. So, it's the same as a works race, but it's put on by a different district, different group of people. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do the work series this year due to conflicting dates with the National Hare and Hounds. So on the other side of it, I was fortunate enough to go ahead and do most of the Big Sixes and try to get a national #1 plate there. So. It was a good weekend, had fun. Won the team race with a local kid, Ryan Abatoy, who actually rides for Cowie, but you're able to ride 2 different bikes. So we rode that, and we won that on Saturday, and I was able to win the pro race on Sunday. So it was a good weekend.
Heck yeah, dude. That sounds quite awesome. Technicality-wise, you noticed, you mentioned the work series within that. Would you find this Big Six that you did this past weekend more technical than a lot of the West Coast works races? We've a lot of people fluff them up as big, outdoor motocross tracks, and so kind of wanted to know, how your opinion on that versus the Big Six and works and stuff.
Well, the Big Six, it's put on by desert racers, so
okay.
Basically, you're getting more off-road. You're not utilizing as much of the motocross track, and they put in a lot more effort to make the off-road section a little bit longer and a little bit more technical. So really, it's more of an off-road race, which I enjoy. I feel like the work series has gone the opposite direction and making a 1-hour motocross race, and the whole track is watered and prepped, and so you don't get the same feel that you do, in an off-road event where you have to pace yourself and try to find lines out in the desert and stuff like that. So, the Big Six series is really stuck to more of an off-road orientated, type Grand Prix where you can't be a motocrosser and go out there and go fast in the desert and in the off-road technical stuff. So
right.
They've definitely put more effort into making it an off-road series. And keeping a 2-hour race is what I think is more of an endurance event, and that's what kind of off-road has always been.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what you were saying. You did about 13-minute lap times and about a 2-hour race. Well, I think I was doing about like a 20-minute lap time.
20-minute lap time.
20-minute lap time.
6 laps.
I did 6 laps in my 2-hour race, so I think that I could almost kept up with you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not, guys. That's okay. One day, all I can hope to do is follow Kurt Caselli's dust. I think that in itself would be quite an amazing day for myself. So, Kurt, though, you did a great job dominating at the first National Hare and Hound, which was a couple weeks ago, and then we've got round 2 coming up this weekend, and it's back in California. What are your plans to kind of keep everything going? You know, I mean, obviously you did a great job last year. You're trying to win again. What are your plans for this weekend and then to continue on the defending championship?
Well, I mean, the first round was nice because going from last year to this year, I didn't change anything on my bike. It was exactly the same bike, same chassis, same suspension. And so we did some suspension stuff over the winter break, but didn't make a lot of changes. So I went to the first round feeling, pretty confident, didn't have anything to adjust to, so it was nice. And, it's the same with this next round. It's basically same thing we did last year and just keep the ball rolling. I mean, off-road, everybody knows it's a lot different than moto. There's a lot more stuff going on and, more chances to have bike problems or just any kind of issue. So you got to take one race at a time, and this next race is still close to my home. It's, a good hour and a half away, which isn't too bad. And so I just go there with the same mentality, same, effort that I had for the first round. And it's a long series. It's a long year. You got to be, consistent when it comes to off-road stuff, and can't just go fast for one race. You got to try to stay healthy all year. So we'll see how that goes. I got another little added race during this week, so
yeah,
I know we're going to talk about that, but that comes before the Hare and Hound, but obviously my focus will be the Hare and Hound, and I'm looking forward to that this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, that was just about the perfect segue, because that was where I was going to next. So this coming weekend for Kurt Caselli is the National Hare and Hound round 2, but there's the King of the Motos. I think I've got that correct. And that's going on this Thursday, February 9th. That's kind of an odd day that they threw it in there like that, but maybe it's because there wasn't an open weekend. But give us ahead. Like I said, we're a little bit more central to East Coast. We don't know a ton about this race. I think 65-mile course, just kind of deserty, extreme enduro. But what's your kind of take on all of this?
I don't even know. I got told,
I'm going to show up.
Yeah. Just a few weeks ago, King, it's in conjunction with, it's called King of the Hammers, and it's a rock crawling event that's been going on for, I don't know, a few years, and it's done in Lucerne Valley, which is a huge off-road area out here. We have a lot of Hare and Hounds and desert races put on. It's actually, I think, around 190,000 acres, so it's huge area, and the King of the Hammers is basically a desert race. I mean, you go out there and it looks like anything from Mad Max the movie with all these trucks running around, and they actually do a long course, 100-mile course, the trucks do, and it's high speed through the desert, and then they get to these real rocky canyons that they have to navigate, and it's all technical. And so this is the first year they're doing King of the Motos, which is just basically the same style race as the trucks, but with bikes, and they're able to use a whole bunch of different areas. Obviously, the bikes can go through stuff that the cars can't, so there's going to be a different loop, different section for the motorcycles. And Jimmy Lewis is the course marshal. He's had a lot of experience over in Ayresburg and doing Dakar and a lot of different things. So I think it's going to be difficult. I mean, the first year, I don't know what to expect. I've heard things that it's going to be as tough as Ayresburg, and it should take us 6 hours to finish Actually, I think it's 80 miles. We do 60 miles of fast desert riding, and there's about 20 miles of rocks. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm riding a 450. I got a Recluse in it, and that's all. I don't know how to set up the suspension. I'm not sure what to expect. I mean, I'm going to obviously have a Camelback and pack a Snickers bar, but I don't know. You have to pit yourself. There's no outside assistance once the race starts. These rock sections, they're telling me, are going to be trial stuff where you got to splatter up rocks, and you're going to be coming down canyons that you can't really just ride down. You're going to have to jump off waterfalls, stuff like that. So I'm a little hesitant as to go out there with just the idea that I'm going to go race. I obviously got to think just to finish and stay healthy. I got a desert race just 3 days later, so it should be fun. They get around 20,000 spectators out in the middle of the desert for this race. And if they can get this King of the Moto in conjunction with King of the Hammers worked out for this next year, and this year. I think it's going to be a huge event and something that, this year we have Graham Jarvis and Cody Webb, Kyle Redmond, some good trials riders. But, if it goes off well and everything works out, I think we're going to have some big names like Taddy and Johnny Walker and guys like that coming over to do it next year.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's looking at the list, there's an absolutely amazing amount of riders, the caliber of riders that are going to be out there. Quickly mentioning the fact that you brought up Taddy and you brought up Johnny Walker, and then that Graham Jarvis. Do you think that the amount of West Coast kind of desert racing that sounds like they may have over all the rocks is going to benefit a rider like you more, where they have more trials background? Or, do you think that just that couple miles of rocks is really going to, make it or break it for somebody who's not trials backgrounded?
Yeah. And that's the kicker. I think that's going to be setting it off as a unique race where, Ayresburg, you do the prologue, and whatever you race the prologue in is what you have to race the actual race the next day in. And you can't ride a trials bike and go fast up the prologue hill to get a good time and qualify. So, with this, it's almost like a desert race where you need a fast bike. You need something that can handle going, 80, 90 miles an hour. And then you got to get to the rock sections that are so technical you almost need a trials bike. And so it's going to definitely have its, pluses for me. I'm going to feel comfortable going fast through the fast sections. But obviously Graham Jarvis is going to, shine in the tough technical stuff. So I don't know. It's going to come down to, I think, fitness and who can, keep the bike together and just keep moving the whole time. You don't really want to get stuck and waste too much energy in one section and not have anything for the final hill or anything like that. So
right.
I don't know what to expect. All I know is it's going to be interesting, and I hope a lot of people show up. And, it's only been really a month since they announced the race coming out. So hopefully it works out. Hopefully I do decent. Actually the purse is huge. It's $10,000 to the winner, and second place doesn't get anything. So I think if I have a chance to win, I'm gonna go for it. And if I'm in 10th place riding around, I'm just gonna go have fun. So we'll see.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Well, we wish you all the luck. Obviously, on this side of the fence, we want you to win, and we want you to wipe the floor with everybody. But what would be absolutely awesome is you gave us as well. Okay, we know you're doing score events. You're not doing much of the works anymore. You're doing a lot of the National Hare and Hounds, Big Six, and then you're doing a bunch of the score events. We know that this is leading up to you guys trying to dominate the Baja 1000. At least that's my take on it with KTM. Yeah. They want that win. So tell us a little bit more about the score events and how you plan to attack the Baja 1000 and how you're just going to absolutely win the ever-living crap out of it.
Well, the score's been on my list for a long time. I get pretty bored racing the same thing every year, and I want to mix it up. So, my dad raced score for 10 years and was, class champion and stuff like that. And I used to go down there when I was 8, 9, 10 years old and hang out and watch him. And I didn't really get the opportunity to put in a full year of Baja racing. I've never done the Baja 1000. And so I'm excited. It's something different for me, and I'm looking forward to it. And with KTM, I tell everybody, all my friends, just give it a few more years and KTM's going to take over the world. They've dominated off-road in Europe. They've dominated motocross now in Europe, and it's coming over here. We've been pretty successful in off-road, and now with Ryan Dungey and DeCoster and Roxon and Muskin, those guys, it's only a matter of time before they take over motocross over here. And I want to be the guy that goes down to Baja and can, put KTM on the map and definitely put in some solid rides to hopefully get, not just some wins, but a championship down there. And so KTM's all for it. I brought up the idea, hey, I want to do Baja. I'm excited about it. It's something that's been, in my mind for a while. And they basically just said, what do you need? What do you want? And let's go do it. So we have all the resources. We have definitely a good list of riders, myself and Ivan Ramirez, who I'm with. He's a young kid that grew up in Ensenada and knows every single trail and rock down in Mexico. So he's definitely a good asset. And then Mike Brown, who, if you put on a race in a parking lot and tell him he could win $5, he'll be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'll race anything and everything. So he's going to be on the team. and we're still actually looking for one more rider. I'm not sure who it's going to be for the 1,000, a fourth guy. So
I'm one hell of a pit crew. That's all I can say, man.
Okay.
Fill your glasses full of beer to get you to the next round.
Well, we need somebody that can go 109 miles an hour for just 4 hours, and then get off the bike and get back on it and do another 110 miles an hour the next 4 hours.
I got calluses in places you don't even want to know about, man. I got this.
If that's you, then I'll call my boss.
Just tell your boss that we're awesome, and all we want to do is be amazing water boys in the shortest skirts you could possibly find. So, and we'll have the best time ever. So,
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be something different, and whether or not we come away with any wins or a championship, it's still gonna be good to have another solid team down there besides Team Honda. And obviously Johnny Campbell is a huge name in Baja, and he's excited to have us down there too, which is cool. I think he's definitely a class act, and he knows that us coming to the races and bringing a solid team and effort is going to not just help his team out, but it's going to help the whole score racing community and definitely KTM and the whole off-road community. So, I'm excited to do it. I've always been one to go ahead and go race wherever I can and get the opportunity. And, it's going to be a learning year, a learning experience, not just for myself, but for KTM. And I hope we can come away with at least a couple wins and maybe a championship.
Well, I think you guys are going to do it. You're pretty awesome, and you always seem to make awesome happen. So we wish you the best of luck with it. Hope it happens. But ISDE, you going back this year?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Everybody asks about ISD is always on my list of to-dos every year. And, since I was on the junior team when we won in New Zealand 2006, I've definitely made a kind of a promise to myself to just keep pushing and try to get a good team together. And a lot's going to change this year for Team USA ISDE. We have a team manager, which is actually the team manager of KTM Off-Road, Antti Kolonen. And he's got a lot of good ideas. He's definitely able to see what we need to improve the team. And AMA has given him kind of leeway to do what he wants with the team. And so we're going to have a solid effort in that this year. We're going to have, hopefully, I think, some of the best riders in the U.S. going over to represent our country and bring back the prestige that I think ISDE had, 10 years ago when it was a privilege to be on the team. And we've lost that. We've lost that connection of putting up, our best riders every year to compete against the best riders in the world. So to bring that back and to be able to have the opportunity, not just to be on the team, but be involved with that whole movement, I'm looking forward to that. And I think a big change is going to happen this year in ISDE, and it's definitely going to affect the next few years to come as far as trophy team members and junior team and just club riders and everybody.
Well, dude, you dominated last year. And this year, I am actually going to try to make it to Idaho and Ohio and try to see if I can qualify for the club teams. Of course, obviously, I am nowhere near junior or trophy team caliber by any means. But I think it's going to be fun. So the big question is, if I actually qualify and make it over to Germany, are we going to be able to share a beer in like the motherland of having beers?
Here's the deal. I said ISD is going to be different this year, and it ends 2 days before Oktoberfest starts in Germany.
Yeah.
So are we going to have a beer? Yeah, we're going to have a beer. And I think our plane is going to be somewhat delayed a few days so we can stay over there and experience some Oktoberfest Germany style.
Totally Red Solo cupping it all over the place, guys. It's going to be a good time. Well, Kurt Caselli, that in itself makes me look forward to meeting you one day. I'll try to stay in Texas so that way no lawyers have to get involved with our bromance because nobody wants it to get too awkward, right?
I don't know how to defend you under a restraining order.
Yeah, Jordan doesn't want to have to bail me out of jail, especially out of one in California, so it would just be awkward. But Kurt Caselli, you've been an amazing guest. We really thank you for making this a first time for us, but definitely not the last, if you know what I mean. It's been quite enjoyable. So please go ahead, take your time, and thank anybody and everybody that has gotten to where you're at, or just that you want to say you're awesome. And then we'll call it an evening, buddy.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I mean, obviously this is my first FaceTime interview, web, whatever we're doing. But no, it's good. I enjoy doing this stuff. You know, some people have asked, oh, you're a big time off-road guy, and what are you doing this interview? And well, I'm just the same as any other off-road guy that races across the U.S., and I enjoy riding dirt bikes, and that's all it is. I enjoy talking about it. It's a lifestyle. It's something that I'm passionate about, and you know, that's it. I'm no better than any other guy. You know, I enjoy watching races just as much as I do racing them, and I enjoy talking to you guys about different stuff that's going on, and to fill you in with what's going on here on the West Coast is only going to help all of us. So thank you guys for having me. You know, I hope I'm back on the show with any more information I can bring and stories. So we're going to have a beer or two in the near future. I'm training right now, so I have to say that I'm not drinking.
I am too, but I'm training in a different manner. I can definitely outdrink you right now.
All right. Well,
I can't outrun you, baby, but I can outdrink you.
I'll be training before 6 days. So
Good.
After 6 days is over, we're gonna have another 6 days of different riding and training.
A Camelback full of different beer every day. That's the way I look at it.
But no, thanks for having me on here. You know, FMF, KTM, blah blah. Plug all my sponsors. That's cool. But thanks for you guys for making it possible. And yeah, it was good. Thanks again.
I love it. I just got the reserve battery power on my computer. That's it. Seats on. Pipe full of awesome. Kurt Caselli is my bromance. One day I'll get to hug him and it's going to be awkward. Thank you, Kurt Caselli, for being on here.
No problem.
See you in the near future, sir.
Talk to you guys soon.
Peace.
Bye.